Warning, my beloved child, stop right here. Do not scroll past this moment. Give me just 1 minute of your time, and I promise you will not regret staying. I am stepping directly into your day with an urgent purpose. Your old life is officially over today. Every silent battle you fought alone is coming to a complete stop right now. You did not stumble across this message by accident. Heaven aligned time itself to bring your eyes to these exact words. You have been feeling a strange restlessness in your chest lately. It was not confusion. It was your spirit sensing that a massive shift was happening in the unseen realm. Look at me right now. I need your absolute attention. I know how exhausted you are in your soul. You have carried heavy burdens for so many years without complaining to anyone. You smiled for others while quietly breaking into pieces inside your quiet room. You convinced yourself that you had to hold everything together on your own strength. But hear me today. You do not have to carry it anymore. I am declaring a divine halt over your pain. The cycle of disappointment that kept you trapped in the same room is breaking. You spent nights sitting in the dark, asking me if I still remembered your name. I never forgot you for a single breath. Every tear you dropped into your pillow was counted by my hands. Today, the waiting season comes to an end. The enemy wanted you to keep scrolling today. He wants you to believe that nothing will ever change for you. He whispers lies into your mind, telling you that your best days are behind you, but I am stepping between you and those lies right now. I am placing a sacred boundary around your life. What was meant to destroy you will now become your testimony. Do not rush past this sacred moment. The world around you is full of noisy distractions that try to drown out my voice. But I halted your hands right here, so you could receive a holy warning. Something monumental is shifting in your atmosphere today. If you walk away right now, you may miss the very key to your freedom. Stay right here with me. Let this truth settle into the deepest place of your heart. You are standing at the exact threshold between your past and your future. The old version of your life, where you had to survive on empty strength, is passing away. A brand new beginning is starting for you in this very hour. You do not have to earn it, because I am giving it to you freely. Take a slow breath right now. Let your shoulders relax as you listen to my voice. If you feel my presence touching your heart in this moment, take a small step of faith, pause where you are, and write the word Amen in the comments as an act of agreement. By doing this, you anchor your spirit to the blessing that I am releasing over your household today. Your agreement is powerful. When you align your heart with my promise, you give heaven permission to clear away the static in your life. The heavy weight that sat on your chest this morning is starting to lift. You have felt trapped in an endless loop of waiting. But I am telling you that the loop is officially broken today. Think about how many times you prayed for a fresh start. You asked me for a clear sign, wondering when the pressure would finally ease. You looked at your life and saw closed doors everywhere you turned. You thought those closed doors meant that you were failing. But I am about to reveal a secret that will change how you see every door that ever shut in your face. Those closed doors were never your failure. They were my absolute protection over your soul. I held you back from rooms that would have broken your heart into pieces. I removed people from your path because they could not carry the weight of where I am taking you. What looked like a painful delay was actually my hand shielding you from invisible traps. You were never falling behind. You were simply being prepared in secret. A master builder does not place a heavy roof on a weak foundation. I spent those quiet years strengthening your spirit, while the world thought you were standing still. You felt invisible while others moved ahead of you, but I was guarding you in the shadow of my hand. Now, the preparation is complete. The foundation is ready. Listen carefully to what I am warning you about. The enemy knows that your time of hidden preparation is over. He is terrified of the breakthrough that is about to overflow from your life. That is why the attacks on your mind have been so fierce lately. He tried to flood your thoughts with doubt, anxiety, and weariness right before your threshold. He wanted you to give up today. He wants you to stay attached to your old life. Comfort will always invite you to settle for familiar pain rather than stepping into an unknown blessing. Your old life was comfortable because you knew how to survive it. You knew how to carry the sadness. You knew how to manage the disappointment. But I did not create you merely to manage disappointment for the rest of your days. I created you to walk in my abundance and peace. I shaped you to be a light bearer in a dark world. When you hold on to the remnants of your past, your hands are too full to receive what I am holding out to you. Today, I am asking you to drop the heavy luggage of yesterday. Lay down the guilt, the regret, and the fear of repeating old mistakes. Look back at the roads you have walked so far. You survived storms that would have swallowed anyone else whole. You kept your heart pure, even when people treated you with cruelty. You continued to give love even when your own vessel was completely dry. I saw every silent sacrifice you made. I recorded every single time you chose kindness over revenge. You are my chosen warrior, but your season of fighting in isolation is over. I am stepping into the battle on your behalf today. You will no longer have to push through on your own empty energy. My divine strength is taking over where your strength ran out. A new beginning does not mean you have to fix everything yourself. It means you allow me to do what you could never do alone. Do you realize what happens when I say your old life is over? It means the authority of every generational pattern in your family is canceled right now. The spirit of lack, the constant anxiety, and the sudden losses that plague those before you have no power over your future. You are the one I chose to break the chain. The pattern ends with you today. You are stepping out of the role of a victim. You are stepping into the authority of an heir. You carry my mark upon your heart, and no weapon formed against your mind will prosper anymore. When the enemy tries to remind you of your past failures, remind him of the new covenant I am making with you today. You are not defined by what happened to you. You are defined by what I am doing in you right now. Stay with me as we move deeper into this message. I have so much more to reveal to your spirit before you leave this place. I am going to show you the exact reason why your prayers seem to bounce off the ceiling in your darkest hours. I am going to explain the hidden interference that tried to drown out my voice. You will finally understand why you felt so lonely in the crowd. Come closer now, my beloved child. Breathe deeply and let the quietness of my presence wrap around you like a warm blanket. I am shifting my voice from a command to a whisper because I want to talk directly to the part of you that is most tired. I know you have been hurt in ways you never talk about. I know the wounds you carry run deeper than physical skin. What I am about to expose about your past will make you realize something remarkable. You were never broken, even when you felt shattered into 1,000 pieces. You were simply being molded into a holy vessel that can hold my divine glory. Pause right here and let your spirit settle. Stay right where you are, because the healing you have prayed for is about to begin. Come closer now, my child. Let me speak softly to the part of you that is most tired. You have spent so many months pretending that everything is fine. You smile for your family when they enter the room, but your eyes carry a heavy weight that you cannot hide from me. You walk through your daily tasks like a faithful servant, but inside your soul feels entirely drained of life. I see how hard you are trying. I saw you in the quiet moments when no one else was looking. I saw you sitting in your car after a long day, letting the tears fall in silence before you walked into your house. I saw you in the bathroom when you turned on the water so that no one would hear your broken sobs. You pressed your face into a pillow so your family would not worry about your pain. You folded yourself into the smallest shape possible. You thought you were sitting in that dark room completely alone. But hear my whisper today. I was sitting right beside you on that cold floor. I held your hand when your fingers were trembling with fear. Not a single tear that fell from your eyes was lost or forgotten by heaven. Every silent scream that died in your throat reached my ears with perfect clarity. I felt every ounce of your heaviness. Do you feel that tight heaviness sitting behind your sternum right now? That particular weight has been sitting in your chest for months, and it never quite lifts, no matter how much you rest. You try to sleep, but your mind races through every mistake and every possible disaster. You wake up in the morning, and before you even open your eyes, The dread is sitting on your chest. You are so weary. You have carried the heavy burdens of other people while neglecting your own bleeding heart. You became the strong pillar for everyone around you because you believed that no one else could hold things together. People lean on you for advice and comfort, but they never stop to ask if you are okay. You give away your love until your own vessel is bone dry. You have given until you have nothing left. Let me tell you why you have been living in this painful cycle for so long. Somewhere along your journey, your heart absorbed a quiet lie. You started believing that you had to earn love and safety by constantly being useful to others. You believed that if you stopped achieving or stopped helping, people would leave you behind. I call this painful scar the earning wound. It has driven you to total exhaustion. You convinced yourself that rest was a luxury that you had not earned yet. Every time you tried to sit still, a quiet guilt whispered in your mind that you were being lazy. You kept working and fixing and pleasing everyone, hoping that someone would finally notice your sacrifice. But my child, you do not have to earn my love. My grace was poured over your life before you ever performed a single task. You carry a deep ache because you poured your sincere heart into hands that did not know how to value it. You loved people deeply, and in return, they gave you disappointment and betrayal. You asked me why your kindness was constantly met with cruelty from the very people you helped. You wondered if your pure heart was actually a weakness that made you vulnerable to every predator in the world. Hear me with absolute certainty today. Your kind heart is not a weakness. It is the very signature of my spirit inside your soul. The enemy targeted your relationships because he knew that your love carried the power to heal broken homes. He tried to pollute your kindness with bitterness so you would close your heart forever. But I guarded the garden of your soul even when you felt utterly defenseless. I know you have felt like a complete failure because doors kept closing in your face. You prayed for financial breakthroughs, but every avenue seemed to lead to another dead end. You begged me to heal your broken relationships, but the silence only seemed to grow louder. You sat in the dark and whispered a question that broke my heart. You asked me if I had quietly abandoned you. My beloved child, I need you to hear this with absolute clarity. The silence you have experienced was not my absence. The enemy has been filling the space between us with noise, creating a static so constant that my voice and my provisions were hidden from your eyes. You thought I was ignoring your cries, but I was actually preparing a holy response. I have not abandoned you. Because I see your weariness, I guided wise minds to bring an instrument of restoration into existence for your exact situation. I aligned a specific sound provision on your path to help you clear away the enemy noise that blocked your peace. I am going to show you exactly what this provision is before this message ends. But first, you must understand what was done to block your signal and why it can be undone today. The enemy used the relentless pressure of your daily survival to drown out the divine signal I placed in your spirit. He flooded your thoughts with constant worries about tomorrow, so you could never experience the quiet peace of my presence. When your mind is overflowing with earthly static, even my loudest blessings sound like distant whispers. You were trying to hear heaven through a wall of noise. Think about how many times you tried to pray, only to find your thoughts scattered in 1,000 directions. You sat down with your holy book, but the anxiety in your chest was too loud for you to absorb the words. You blamed yourself for having weak faith. You thought you were spiritually defective because you could not find peace in your quiet time. But the defect was never in your spirit. The defect was in the chaotic atmosphere that the world forced you to live in every single day. You were built to live in divine harmony, but you were forced to survive in a war zone of endless noise. Your nervous system has been stuck in fight or flight mode for years. Your body is exhausted because your mind has been fighting invisible battles without a single moment of real rest. I saw you trying to fix your mind through sheer willpower and endless human effort. You bought books and listened to advice and tried every technique that promised to give you inner peace. Each attempt gave you a brief moment of relief, but the heavy fog always returned to settle over your thoughts. You became embarrassed to try another solution because you were tired of being disappointed again. Look at me right now. Stop blaming yourself for the seasons when you felt completely stuck. You were not failing. You were simply trying to heal a spiritual wound using empty human strength. Human willpower can only carry you so far before your physical energy collapses under the weight. I am stepping in today to replace your empty willpower with my limitless divine power. The heavy season that drained your youth and stole your joy is reaching its absolute expiration date right now. The enemy thought he had you trapped in a permanent cage of exhaustion and doubt, but I am exposing his lies in this very hour. Every chain that was forged in the dark to keep you bound to your past is losing its grip on your life. You are being set free. I am stripping away the heavy rags of your old identity. You will no longer describe yourself as the weary survivor who barely makes it through the week. You will no longer identify with the chronic pain and the secret shame that kept you hiding in the shadows. I am dressing you in the garments of a conqueror. What was meant to destroy your mind is becoming your greatest weapon. Take a moment to pause where you are right now. Let your breathing slow down as these words wash over your weary spirit. The heaviness that sat on your shoulders when you started listening to this message is starting to dissolve. You can feel a gentle warmth spreading through your chest as my peace takes ground. Do not rush away from this holy atmosphere. You are not just listening to another video on a screen today. You are sitting in a divine sanctuary that was ordained for your restoration long before you were born. Every word I speak over you is breaking down the spiritual walls that held you in captivity. The old version of your life is crumbling into dust, and the ground under your feet is shifting to make room for your new beginning. There was never a moment when you walked through the valley alone. Even when the night was pitch black and you could not see a single step ahead, my presence surrounded you like a wall of fire. You thought you were abandoned in the desert, but I was standing right beside you, shielding your soul from heat that would have consumed you completely. Look back at your hardest days with fresh eyes today. You remember the night when everything seemed to fall apart at once. You looked around your empty room and saw no earthly way out. But do you realize why you did not break into pieces? You did not break because my invisible hands were holding your spirit together. Every time the storm tried to push you under, I held your head above the rising water. You survived because I decreed that you would survive. Consider the story of a young man I loved in ancient times. His name was Joseph. I placed a glorious dream inside his heart when he was young. He saw himself standing in honor and abundance, but instead of an immediate crown, he was thrown into a dark pit by his own brothers. The very hands he trusted stripped away his colorful robe and sold him into slavery. He sat in the cold dirt of that pit and wept in total confusion. He wondered why his faithfulness was rewarded with betrayal and chains. He spent 13 long years in prison for a crime he never committed. He was forgotten by people he helped along the way. The cold walls of that dungeon cell felt like his final grave. But hear my truth today. The pit was not his grave. It was his divine preparation room. I was building something beneath the surface that no earthly throne could ever teach him. I was shaping his character in the dark, so he could carry the weight of a nation in the light. When the appointed hour arrived, I lifted him from the dungeon to the palace in a single day. What his enemies intended for evil, I turned into a weapon of total deliverance for millions. My beloved child, the painful seasons you walked through were your prison years. The people who abandoned you were simply instruments I used to align your path. You sat in the quiet dark and asked why I allowed good people to be hurt. But I was protecting your dream from being destroyed by hands that were not ready to hold it. You were never forgotten for a single second. Before I show you what comes next, I need to speak directly to the quiet doubt sitting in the back of your heart. I know what you are thinking right now. You are thinking that you have heard promises like these before. You prayed sincerely in past seasons, and yet the answers seem to vanish into empty air. You are asking yourself why this time would be any different from before. Hear me clearly, my child. That honest question does not anger me at all. It tells me how long you have been faithful in the dark without seeing results. So let me answer your heart with complete clarity today. My silence in those long years was never my rejection. There were answers I withheld because a yes in that early season would have destroyed your future. You might also be thinking that your situation is too far gone or too complicated for a fresh start. You think your mistakes were too big, or that you arrived too late to your destiny, but I am telling you that you are not the exception to my grace. There has never been a wound so deep that my love could not reach deeper. Your story is not too broken for me to fix. I was not ignoring your desperate prayers. I was protecting you from a door that looked good on the outside, but held invisible danger behind it. Every prayer you thought went unanswered was being answered in a language of timing that your eyes could not yet read. I was rearranging circumstances behind closed doors. The waiting season was actually your holy shield. Let me show you the exact mechanism behind the exhaustion you have lived with for so long. I have watched you replay old conversations in your mind, late at night, searching for the one thing you said wrong. I saw you achieve something great and feel nothing inside, because your eyes went straight to what was still imperfect. You kept striving without ever feeling satisfied with yourself. You called this high standards or perfectionism. You blamed yourself for being anxious and weak, but that is not the truth, and I will not let you carry that lie any longer. Here is the secret I want to reveal to your heart today. Long ago, you learned that love had to be earned through constant performance. I call this painful mechanism the earning wound. It taught you that you were only safe when you were useful to everyone around you. It convinced you that rest was a sin, and that your worth depended on your productivity. So all those years when you thought you were lazy for resting, you were not lazy at all. You were simply fighting an invisible lie that told you love was never free. You were guarding a bleeding scar inside. All those times when you could not receive a genuine compliment, you were not being humble. You were protecting yourself from being disappointed again by people who used you. But today, I am stripping that lie away from your mind forever. The next time that heavy emptiness tries to settle over your chest, stop where you are, place your hand over your heart, and listen to my voice. Say out loud that you were loved before you ever accomplished a single thing on this earth. Receive my love without trying to earn it or pay for it with your exhaustion. What you called wasted years were actually seasons where I was dismantling your need for human approval. You were not falling behind in life. You were being freed from a cage of endless human striving. I am placing a new concept into your spirit today. I call this season the protective delay. When you look back at the doors that slammed shut in your face, do not call them failures anymore. See them as holy barriers that I erected to keep you from walking off an unseen cliff. My love for you was so fierce that I preferred your temporary frustration over your permanent ruin. Another lie the enemy whispered to you during the delay was that my silence meant I was angry with you. He took my quiet working and gave it a false meaning of condemnation. I call this deception the stolen meaning. He stole the piece of my silence and replaced it with guilt, but I am reclaiming that silence today. My silence was always full of tender preparation for you. Do you see how every piece of your story is coming together right now? The pain was not random chaos. The delay was not my carelessness. Everything you endured was carefully weighed in my hands to prepare you for the magnitude of what is coming. You are standing at the end of your prison season today. The palace doors are trembling at my command. Sit quietly in my presence for just a moment longer. Feel the heavy tension in your shoulders dissolving as my truth takes root in your soul. The enemy used doubt and fear to keep you looking backward at your past failures, but I am turning your eyes forward to behold the glory of your new season. What I am about to release over your life will surprise everyone who watched you suffer. You are no longer a captive to the lies of your old life. The authority of every hidden trap that kept you bound to tiredness is officially broken in this hour. Take a deep breath of my peace right now. Prepare your spirit, because we are stepping directly into the place of your breakthrough. The chains are falling off your hands, and your true freedom is beginning today. Listen to me with the deepest place in your spirit today. What I am declaring over your life right now is completely irreversible. Heaven has authorized a total reversal of your circumstances in this very hour. Every invisible chain that was forged by the enemy to hold your family in lack, sickness, and heaviness is snapping into pieces. You are the one I chose to walk out of the pattern. You were not born to repeat the mistakes and misfortunes of those who walked before you. The cycle of chronic worry, sudden losses, and silent suffering stops with you today. I am placing my royal seal upon your mind, and I am stripping away the spirit of fear that held you captive. For generations, your family walked under an invisible ceiling. You saw your parents struggle with the same heaviness, and you wondered if you were destined to carry it too. But hear my voice today. You are a cycle breaker. What stopped them will not stop you, because I am breaking the foundation of that old house. When I created the human mind at the beginning of time, I placed a sacred frequency at its very core. Scientists who spent their lives studying the brain have confirmed this signal, and they call it the gamma wave. It ran freely in your mind when you were a small child, long before the world taught you how to worry. That is why children learn so effortlessly, why they trust so purely, and why they live in total peace. When I said that you must become like little children to enter my kingdom, I was not speaking only of your spirit. I was speaking of the physical signal I placed inside your brain. The enemy used the relentless noise of survival to suppress that signal. But I guided wise minds to work with sound the way I designed it. I prepared a frequency instrument that clears the static and restores the signal I gave you from the beginning. You do not have to work for it or earn it through endless effort. You simply surrender for 7 minutes a day and allow my divine design to restore what was taken from you. I promised that I would show you where to find what they built. The waiting season is officially finished. Doors that were locked tightly against your life are trembling right now at my command. I am doing something entirely new, and no human hand will ever shut what I am opening for you today. Stand up in your spirit and claim the freedom that belongs to you as my chosen heir. You are no longer the exhausted victim struggling to make it through another day. You are a cycle breaker, a beacon of peace, and a light bearer to everyone around you. The enemy targeted your mind because he was terrified of the spiritual authority you carry. But today, his power over your thoughts is destroyed completely. Every tear you wept in secret is becoming a seed of authority in your hands. You are walking out of the wilderness with gifts that could only be forged in the dark. The world will look at your life in wonder and say that, surely my hand is upon you. I am elevating you above the storms that once drowned your hope. I feel you pulling back slightly right now, my child. A quiet voice in the back of your mind is whispering that this help is meant for someone more deserving than you, someone who did not stumble the way you did. Let me silence that lie before it steals from your future. I have never given my gifts based on who earned them. If I required perfection, no human being could ever receive anything from my hands. I give to the willing, not the worthy. Your willingness to stay and listen to my voice this long is the only qualification I require. Do not disqualify yourself from what I am freely placing on your path today. Before this message closes, I want to explain how this provision came into existence. I do not work only through sudden miracles, but also through the hands of servants I call into discovery. I guided a dedicated team of researchers, directing their work for decades toward what I placed in sound. Wise institutions like Princeton and Columbia confirmed the power of the gamma frequency I placed in the human mind. I want to show you what I did for 2 of my children who received this provision before you arrived at this moment. A nurse named Rachel had sought my peace for years through prayer and endless human effort. 2 weeks after receiving this sound provision, the fog in her mind cleared completely. Her marriage was transformed, and solutions began arriving effortlessly. And for another son named Michael, who carried heavy financial worries, 2 months of receiving this sound opened doors that grew his business and brought lasting peace to his home. They call this instrument the Genius Song. It is a unique 7-minute digital audio track designed to reactivate the gamma signal I placed within your brain. All it requires from you is 7 minutes a day, with headphones on and your eyes closed, resting in complete surrender. This is not a generic meditation app or a random track on music platforms. Those streaming tracks are imitations that carry known of the restoration I built into this verified source. This provision was aligned specifically for the one I am speaking to in this video. If you are the one who has tried everything and feels embarrassed to try once more, Hear my voice today. What failed you before required your own exhausting human effort. This requires no human effort from you at all, because it works by restoring my divine design inside your mind. Earthly experts charge hundreds of dollars for single sessions that attempt to reach this state. The machines researchers use cost thousands of dollars. But I am not asking for a great sacrifice. I place this provision within your reach for a small earthly exchange, the size of a mustard seed of investment for the harvest I prepared for you. I have also aligned 4 additional gift provisions with it today, including special audio for your children's focus and guided resources to keep your signal clear. Where I place truth, the enemy places imitation. Do not be led astray by false frequencies on streaming sites, but protect your spirit by using only the official path I placed for you. Walk forward without any fear today, because this step of faith carries zero worldly risk. You are completely protected for 60 days, and if the restoration does not come, every earthly penny is returned to you fully. I do not lead my children into danger or loss. Take this step of obedience right now. Find the provision I have placed below in the pinned comment and in the description of this video. Embrace what I set before you today and step boldly into your new beginning. Now, my beloved child, set aside the noise of decision for a moment. You have heard my voice, and you have seen the path I placed before you today. Whether you step forward into that provision right now or in a moment, my love over your life remains steadfast and unshakable. Close your eyes for just a second. Take a slow, deep breath into your chest. I am still here with you. Let me show you something magnificent that heaven has prepared for your future. Picture a quiet morning just 6 months from today. You open your eyes as the early sunlight fills your quiet room. For the first time in many years, there is no heavy knot sitting in your stomach. The familiar dark cloud of dread that used to greet your mornings is simply gone. You lie there in the peaceful stillness, and you notice how quiet your mind feels. Your very first thought is not anxiety or worry about your heavy tasks. Instead, a soft and gentle gratitude fills your soul as you realize that you are completely safe. You take a full breath, and the air goes all the way down without any tightness in your chest. You are finally at home in yourself. You stand up and walk through your house, and you notice that the air feels lighter. The heavy atmosphere of fear that once hung over your home has dissolved into pure peace. You smile as you make your morning cup of tea, feeling a quiet joy that you have not felt since you were a child. You are no longer rushing to survive. You are living in my divine rest. That peaceful version of you is not a distant fantasy. That person already exists in the unseen realm right now. She is sitting right on the other side of your complete surrender. The distance between who you are today and who you will be then is not measured in long years. The whole distance is simply your willingness to let go of what you were never meant to carry alone. Now look a little further down the road of your transformed destiny. Picture an evening 1 year from today when someone walks into your life carrying a broken heart. They sit across from you, weeping quietly, as they describe the exact pain that once kept you awake in the dark. They are exhausted, confused, and ready to give up on their own future. And in that quiet moment, you know exactly what to say to comfort their soul. You do not speak from heavy books or empty theories that you read online. You speak from the deep authority of a survivor who walked through the fire and came out refined like gold. You watch the light return to their tired eyes, and you understand why your road was so long. Nothing was wasted. Every silent tear you dropped into your pillow became medicine for someone else. Every door that slammed shut in your face was keeping you pure for this high calling. The enemy thought he was destroying you in that dark pit, but I was actually forming you into a vessel of healing for thousands of weary souls. You were being prepared to lead others into the light. I want you to make a solemn decision in your heart right now. The old version of your life, where you had to survive on empty human strength, ends in this hour. You are no longer the silent survivor who hides her pain behind a fake smile. I am raising you up as a cycle breaker, a beacon of heavenly peace, and a living testament to my grace. Lay down the heavy luggage that you have dragged behind you for so many years. Drop the regret over old mistakes that were washed clean long ago. Let go of the bitterness toward people who did not know how to love your pure heart. You cannot step into the room of your future while your hands are still clinging tightly to the broken pieces of yesterday. Release it all to me now. Place every single worry about tomorrow into my hands right here. Place your finances, your health, your children, and your hidden fears onto my altar. You do not have to carry the future all at once. I will guide your steps one day at a time, and I will never confuse you. My voice brings absolute clarity, and my holy presence brings unshakable calm to your soul. I am taking full ownership of your battle from this day forward. When the enemy whispers that you are going to fail, remember that the victory belongs to heaven. When fear tells you that you are alone, remember the wall of fire that surrounds your home. You do not have to figure out every detail of your life today. Just walk with me one step at a time. The heavy season of waiting is officially over for your household. The old foundation of your life has crumbled away, and my divine hands are building something brand new. You will see evidence of my favor in places where you least expect it. Unexpected doors will open, strange delays will suddenly make sense, and long-lost peace will return to your heart. Believe it today. Do not let the noise of the world steal the sacred peace that entered your spirit today. Anchor this moment in your heart, so that doubt cannot wash it away tomorrow. Take an active step of faith right now to seal this divine alignment between your soul and mine. Write the words "I step into my new beginning" in the comments section below as a holy act of agreement. When you type those words, you are declaring to the unseen realm that you belong to the future. You are telling the enemy that his authority over your mind is officially canceled. Let your comment be a sacred mark that seals the blessing over your family. Stand firm in your faith and watch how quickly heaven moves on your behalf when you choose trust over fear. Look around you at the world, where so many souls are suffering in silence today. People are crying out for hope, searching for a single sign that they are not forgotten by heaven. Do not keep this light hidden in your room. Share this message with 3 souls who are secretly carrying heavy burdens right now. Become the answer to their quiet prayers. When you share my peace with others, the blessing over your own life multiplies. You become a river through which my abundance flows into the dry places of the earth. Subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so you stay connected to my daily guidance. Do not miss a single step of the instructions I am preparing for your journey in the days ahead. You are stepping into a season where my goodness will overwhelm your heart. Where there was scarcity, I am releasing divine overflow. Where there was constant friction in your home, I am releasing a quiet harmony that settles every storm. What took you years of striving to achieve on your own strength will now arrive in moments by my grace. I am walking beside you through every open door that lies ahead. I will guide your decisions when you face uncertain paths. I will provide for your needs before you even ask for help. You are my beloved child, and my favor surrounds you like a shield every second of your life. No weapon formed against your mind can ever tear you away from my protection. Remember who you are whenever the world tries to make you feel small again. You are not a victim of your past. You are a carefully formed masterpiece designed to reflect my light in a dark world. Walk with your head lifted high, knowing that the King of Kings goes before you to level every mountain and smooth out every rough road in your path. Rest your mind now, and let your heart be completely at peace. The old life is gone forever, and the new beginning has already started inside your spirit. Walk forward with courage, knowing that heaven is backing every step you take in obedience. I love you with an everlasting love. Go in my peace, my precious child, and live in your glorious freedom.